On this week's episode, I'm going to talk with you about preparing for your spring and summer job search and what you should be doing right now. And I will go through this week's job leads. It is the week of March 24th through the 28th, and this is the QC Step Podcast. Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the QC Step Podcast. My name is Corey Finneran, and this podcast is available in audio and video on our website, qcstep.com, and you can subscribe to the audio version for free in iTunes or Stitcher. And then in addition to being available on our website, the video version of these episodes, they're on YouTube, and the closed captioning services are provided by YouTube. You can connect with QC Step on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go to qcstep.com/Facebook, and we are at QC Step on Twitter and Instagram. And I share information on employment through our social networking. Earlier this week, I posted an article on Facebook, and I also tweeted it out, and that article was on tips for being successful with interviewing for a part-time job. As spring breaks are wrapping up and the weather is finally starting to warm up, we're entering the fourth quarter, which means that summer is coming up quickly. And it may seem like that it's far away, but if you're thinking about trying to find a summer job, then this is when you should start that process. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you 4 ways to prepare for your summer job search. If it feels like it's too early to be looking for a summer job, remember that a few months ago in January, Whitewater Junction, the water park in Rock Island, they already had their jobs posted for their summer positions. Competition for summer jobs is tough, and if you wait too long, you'll be left out. So start the process now, and you'll be more likely to find something than if you wait another month or two. Summer jobs don't hire in the summer. And if you want to know why you should work a summer job, go back to episode number 27 of the podcast from last year, and that episode was on the topic, why you should work a summer job. The first thing that you can do to start preparing for your summer job search is to identify the businesses that you would like to apply with. Get a piece of paper and write down the businesses that are around you that get busier in the summer. Chances are, if a business has more customers in the summer, then they will need more employees during that season. If you're looking for a summer job that will end at the end of the summer, then you will want to be looking at things like detasseling, working for park districts, babysitting, maybe things like working a summer day camp for kids. If you are interested in finding a job this summer and then staying on after the season ends, then you'll want to think about businesses that are open year-round, even if things do slow down after the end of the summer. Some businesses lay off workers at the end of their busy season, but just like when I talked about the holiday seasonal work 3 or 4 months ago before the holidays, you can use your time there to show the employer that you're a reliable worker. And so don't let a potential layoff stop you from applying to work there. Even if you are laid off, you will have money in your pocket and you'll have good work experience to put on your future applications. And last year I did an episode, it's episode number 24, and I talk about the different types of spring and seasonal summer jobs and that hire this time of year. I've been in a lot of your classrooms in the last few months, and I've been talking with you about how you can use your social networking to find a job. And this is the time to put some of those things into action. Most of you said that if you relied on your traditional networking, you'd probably ask 5 people, maybe 10 people, if they know anyone that is hiring. So ask your friends and your teachers at school and family, parents, and those traditional networks, but then also ask on Facebook and Twitter. Instead of reaching 5 or 10 people, you can reach 50, 100, 500 people, however many people you are connected with on your social networks. So get organized and come up with a game plan. Figure out where you're going to apply. Look to see if they have an online application or if you would need to go in and pick up a paper application. And just remember, if you go back to episode number 41, that was on 5 tips for filling out online applications. And don't forget that if you go into businesses to pick up paper applications, dress like you would for an interview. You will want to make a good first impression, and you never know, they may offer you an interview right there on the spot. And also, when you pick up applications in person, ask when they will be hiring for summer positions. And if a business has an online application, then call and ask to speak to the hiring manager and ask them when they will be hiring for their summer jobs. Once you get that information, then you'll be able to come up with a timetable and prioritize the different applications that you have. The second thing that you should do to prepare for your search for a summer job is to make a master application. And sometimes when you apply with businesses, they want you to fill out the applications in their store. And if you need to do that, or if you're able to take home the application, you will still want to be organized with your information. And my tip is to get a job application from a business, or Gary or Carrie can provide you with one. And just get that one and then fill it out with all of your information, your work history, the dates and phone numbers for the places that you have worked before, whether it was paid, volunteer, or training through our program. Fill all of that information out, and then you will have it, and all you have to do is copy it down and copy it over to the real applications when you turn them in. And to go along with that, the third thing that you should do to prepare for your search for a summer job is to get organized with your references. Whether your references that you plan to use are former employers or teachers, maybe Gary or Carrie or whoever it is, talk with them and let them know that you will be using them as a reference on the applications that you're filling out. Find out what phone number they would prefer that you use. You want your references to know that they may be getting phone calls because they will be more prepared to talk about you. And if they aren't expecting a phone call from a potential employer about you, they may be caught off guard, and maybe that will lead them to not giving you such a great reference. And you always want to let someone know that you have used them as a reference. The fourth thing that you should do to prepare for your search for a summer job is to practice interviewing. And I've shared articles on our Facebook and Twitter, and I've done quite a few podcast episodes with information that could help you in an interview. Episode number 54 was on interviewing in a loud environment. You might face that. Episode number 48 was on 5 tips for standing out in a group interview, and you might face a group interview. And even if you don't, many of those tips on that episode would be helpful in a regular interview too. And episode number 31 was on how to handle an unexpected question in a job interview. So there's a lot of information out there, even just on QCStep.com, about interviewing. So do practice interviews with your family, do them with your teachers, and if you would like Gary, Carrie, or myself to do a practice interview with you, then get a hold of us through Facebook, tweet at us, or email info@QCStep.com. Even if you think that you're comfortable with the idea of interviewing, it's a good idea to keep practicing. It's pretty easy to get thrown off by an unexpected question. And it's also a good idea to practice interviewing with different people, because when you interview, it'll be with different people, different personality types, and it's best to be as prepared as possible. So those are 4 things that you can do to prepare for your search for a summer job. Identify the businesses that you would like to apply with. Make a master application, get organized with your references, and practice interviewing. If you do those things now, then you will give yourself a better chance of getting a summer job. And again, now is the time to apply for these jobs. Don't wait around. Like I said before, summer jobs don't hire in the summer. I'm going to go over some job leads now, and remember that these leads that I share on QCStep.com and here on the podcast, these aren't the only businesses that are hiring. You should still do your own searching for job leads. These leads that I share are typically from different websites that post job leads for the Quad City area. And I usually don't list fast food restaurants, and like I've said many times on here before, that you should assume that fast food businesses are always hiring. They have a very high turnover rate, and even if they're not hiring this week, they probably will be next week. So here are a few leads. CVS Pharmacy in Moline, they're hiring cashiers. Village Inn in Moline, that's the one on 53rd Street, they're hiring dishwashers. And Maurice's in Davenport at North Park Mall, they're hiring sales associates. And there's a new Sam's Club opening in Moline near Menards and Farm and Fleet on John Deere Road. And they will begin their hiring on Monday, March 31st, this upcoming Monday. And they aren't doing their hiring at their location. They're going to have a hiring center inside of South Park Mall across from Dillard's. And I'm assuming that they will have applications to fill out, probably online. But I would definitely dress for an interview and be prepared for an interview because they may do them right there on the spot. In the hiring center, the hours are Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then on Sundays from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And again, that hiring center opens this upcoming Monday. I do have a few job leads for graduates. The Conway in Rock Island is hiring dock workers, and Lowe's in Moline is hiring seasonal employees. And for all of the job leads this week, except for the Sam's Club lead, they have the online applications, and you will find the links to those online applications at the bottom of this post. And if you need any help with filling out applications, get a hold of Gary or Carrie through your STEP or your co-op teacher, or you can email me, info@qcstep.com, and I will pass it along to them. Well, that does it for this week's episode, and like I said earlier in the episode, now is the time to prepare for your spring and summer job search. And if you do the 4 things that I talked about, you will be on your way to landing a summer job and get some money over the summer. I don't have a topic picked out for next week's episode yet, and if you have a question on employment that you would like answered on the podcast, then send it to me on Facebook, tweet it to me, or email me, info@qcstep.com. And don't think that your question is not good enough, because I guarantee that whatever question you ask, there are many other students that would probably have the same question and could benefit from you asking it. So thanks for watching, listening, and downloading, and I will be back next week with another episode of the QC Step Podcast.